Hello world, it is now the 24th climate change rally in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, USA. I think it's June 7th, 2019. As usual, for the all but one protester turned out with my wife and myself, who actually had a placard, and that was back in March 15th. So again, Gettysburg, PA is not getting it. The parents aren't getting it. The students aren't getting it. They don't understand the dire situation, the actual dire, terrifying situation we're in. And, you get thumbs up from people, but they're not protesting. They don't understand that change is not going to happen unless you put the pressure on the politicians and the oil companies and electrical companies, anyone. You gotta actually put boots on the ground, and it's not happening. This Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, USA is just symptomatic of the whole United States of America, and we're actually really pitiful, and the world should be shunning us right now and shaming us as far as our lack of participation and our total idiocy and just denialism, whether it's de facto, meaning people don't come out and protest or say anything because they're too scared, or they're actually outright denying things. So I really am pointing the finger at the United States, and we're the main cause why things are not going forward. It's very embarrassing to be an American right now, and we're totally in denial of what's going on. So, hey, thank you. So, want to say hi, live broadcast, Facebook. All right.
Where?
Yeah. I'm on Facebook right now, live, yeah. So I've been doing this is my 24th rally in a row. So,
and this is Extinction Rebellion, or
I agree with what they're saying and everyone else. Yeah. So it's kind of sad though. No one turns out. I've had one person. My wife comes out occasionally, but I've had one other person in 24 times, and that's it.
What's really hard is that people are just not accepting and refusing it.
Right.
And it's gonna,
yeah.
It's and if they have kids.
Yep. You're right on.
Yeah.
So, yep.
Yeah.
So where are you from?
I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Lake Michigan is 9 feet higher this year.
Not 9 feet.
It's way higher though.
9 inches.
9 inches. But whatever. It's getting towards the top of the bank, and that's a huge amount of water.
It is. I know. It really is.
Yeah.
But look at Mississippi River. I mean.
Right. Yeah. The whole Midwest with the farmers.
3 days. Yeah. The farmers can't plant.
Right.
Which means we aren't going to have food.
Right. I know. No one's getting that. It's very scary what's happening. And India was just 122 degrees.
Yes.
200 million people. 122 degrees. I can't imagine being out in that.
We'll have a billion climate migrants.
Yep, you're exactly right. And a billion if we're lucky.
Yeah.
We might be our own climate migrants.
Yeah.
We might all have.
I have 2 friends already moved out of San Francisco because
really?
of the smoke from a forest fire.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to get out of there. So I'm glad you stopped by.
Yeah,
very much.
battlefield with us there.
What's that?
It's our new battlefield.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's our new Vietnam.
Yes.
That is, and it's going to be every day for the rest of everyone's life.
We should mobilize like we did for World War II.
Yep. See you later. Well, that was fun. That's the first time someone actually stopped and talked while on Facebook Live. So there are some Americans that are getting it, but mostly all in all, it's just a pitiful situation. And as they said, that Americans don't understand the dire situation we're in. So, this winter and most of the spring, the CO2 level has been above 415 parts per million. Right now it's 413 because the trees have now kicked in and absorbing some of the carbon dioxide. But, it'll probably stay above 410. And the significance of that is only 300 parts per million and below is safe for all humans. So we're in big trouble. The only thing we can do is stop producing carbon dioxide, which means stop with the trucks and everything, and then work on a way to reduce it, which is plant millions and millions of trees. Nature will handle itself if you give it a chance, but it's not happening. With the CO2 being so high, the Arctic is superheating up compared to where they used to be, and jet stream is totally shredded. It's doing these high, these wavy patterns and everything. So you got these wild storm fluctuations, as in the Midwest with the farmers here in the United States. They can't produce food, and we're going to have a starvation issue eventually for somewhere in the world because there's not enough food to go around. So you got food insecurity and then water insecurity. If you get floods, you get sewage in the water, you cannot drink it without putting yourself at risk. Eventually you get droughts, floods. India is experiencing severe heat of 122 degrees right now Fahrenheit. 200 million people at 122 degrees. So with our CO2 level being what it is, we've basically baked in 60 degrees of sea level rise and 3 degrees Celsius temperature increase. And that doesn't seem much to people, but all these wild things are happening with a 0.8 degree increase. So 3 degrees Celsius is basically the end of civilization. I would say at 2 degrees we're in big trouble as far as surviving as a civilization, and most likely that'll happen within the next 10 to 20 years, or if not sooner. So this denialism that's going on, straight up denialism, in that people just deny that climate change is happening. Our president, not my president, the president of the United States says that it's a hoax. And people like that need to be taken out of office. At this point, it's crimes against humanity when they're developing policies that are anti-human and going to cause extinction. They've shown that they do not have the capacity to be in charge. And people need to call Trump out, or any Republican or any Democrat that says things aren't happening. And if you're a congressman, whether Democrat or Republican, is not taking action or speaking out about it every minute, you might want to think about having them removed from office and having a revote or whatever you need to do. But that won't happen until you start understanding the dire situation we're in. And right now you're not getting it. Obviously Gettysburg is an example of that. This comes down to you. That's a simple fact. If you're not out here protesting, yelling at people, doing whatever you need to do, you should be in a total panic at this point. And your kids' lives are definitely in danger. They will not become my age, okay? They will not push 50 or 60 years old. That's an impossibility based on the math. And, this is absolutely insane that people aren't getting out. So you got the Democratic Party, as I said. Also, the Democratic Party has really shot themselves in the ass and shot all Americans in the ass, in that they refuse to have a debate about climate change or what each candidate proposes. So they're in total denialism, and people need to bail out of the Democratic Party and Republican Party if you got kids, or if you care about anyone or anything, your dog, your cat, anything is surviving. So this is really a harsh criticism I'm doing for this show here, and people need to hear it. This is tough love, and that's the way it is. So the media is culpable. They're not reporting climate change for what it is. They'll report about climate events happening, such as water or flooding or drought or fire, but they won't say why it's happening. And the media is absolutely 100% culpable as well, as far as dropping the ball and deliberately not reporting what is happening. Small actions are good, and that you pick up plastic and do this and that, but it's not what is needed to get the change going, okay? You need to actually get out and start screaming at people and protesting and doing what I'm doing or whatever else is needed. But doing little things like that is not going to make the dog hunt. And we literally have probably less than 3 years to get things straightened up and get a policy going and get action going. And then we're just in a situation where we're just trying to fight to survive, and who's going to survive. No matter what, you can't hide from the issue. It's not going away, and you can deny it, and it still doesn't go away. You can not talk about it with your friends and neighbors, and it will not go away. It's just going to get worse and worse and worse. So these are my predictions, that in less than 10 years or so, or 20 years, you're going to have all the civilization falling apart. And it's going to be a dire situation. You won't have the tourism going on and things like this that happens at Gettysburg. Children will be dying, okay? This is a fact. Children will be dying. They will not make it to age 50. If you got a child that's under age 20, getting to age 50 is going to be very, very difficult. Okay, so it's 30 years from now. I can't imagine in 30 years that anyone will be here based on the current situation. And America is the one responsible for it. We're not leading the way. We're absolutely heinous for the world. It is totally embarrassing. We act like we're smart, and we're just a hillbilly nation of the world. And we should be absolutely shunned and shamed as far as, whenever Americans go anywhere, and they should be made aware of what goes on as far as in other countries about, their desire to get things fixed, and they're actually doing things. You should be terrified for your families. You should be terrified for your children. If you look at your child every night across the dinner table, look at him really clearly and realize he or she realize that that child probably will not make it to your age unless something severe is done, and immediately. Okay, this is a dire situation we're in, and no one's getting it. Sit across the table, sit across the living room, have a talk with the child about how their day is going, and realize while you're talking to that child that they will probably not have the same conversation with their children. Okay, it'll be a Mad Max situation, total chaos, and one way or the other, either you're going to have an upheaval of government now as far as getting things done, or you're going to have a chaotic situation with food insecurity, water insecurity, heat, drought, and this will become a horrible situation. And it is right around the corner. So get to it. Don't quit sitting on your butt, Americans, and get out there. So my next climate change rally will be in 3 weeks from now on June 28th. I'm taking 2 weeks off from this. Not that anyone notices. Around the world you're noticing, I really appreciate it, and you make comments, and you really keep me going. Locally, it is very difficult because you feel like you're some sort of pariah, that people aren't getting it, and nobody talks about it with you, and you try to talk about the conversations in Gettysburg, and everyone clams up. I mean, there's no open discussion what's happening. They'll talk about their children, but they won't talk about, the situation that's going to happen to their children. And I'll be glad to talk to anyone and point out what's happening and give them a straight boot. I'm a straight shooter. I don't want to hem and haw about this, because we're in a situation that it actually needs to be clear-headed thought, and we're at war right now. So I'll see you all on June 28th. Thanks for hanging in there, and I really appreciate it. And you guys in other countries, you're really amazing to me. All right, thank you.